Right, and we are live. Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. It is Junior Rugby time. SA Under-20s taking on New Zealand Under-20s in the inaugural match of the Under-20 Rugby Championship. And a really, really good addition to the junior calendar. And I think something that's going to be a very, very important pipeline for also the junior rugby of the four different sides. Very wet conditions over in Australia where all the games are taking place. Looks pretty windy as well, so not the best conditions for the first game of the tournament. Lots and lots of wet patches over there, but two very iconic under-20 sides who will go toe-to-toe for the next couple of hours. We've just had the New Zealand under-20 haka and a couple of the SCA under-20 players just running a few warm-ups before we get underway. So we are looking at the next generation of players, future Boks, future All Blacks here on display. And after this match, by the way, it will be Argentina taking on Australia. But we do have kickoff. It's a very low kickoff as you'd expected. South Africa will be playing left to right. Goodness me, I mean, I'm actually almost surprised that this game is being allowed to play with the amount of water on this field at the moment there. But so it's going to be very interesting to see how these players do adapt to the conditions as they prepare for the Under-20 Championship, which we held on in Stellenbosch later this year, and actually, ironically, usually also very similar conditions to what they're playing in now. So maybe this is actually very useful opportunity. Now, deep kick there, and the first touch of the ball for the South African fullback, Michael Damon. I mean, jeepers me, so the conditions here are absolutely terrible. And there's the first carry for South Africa's captain today, which is Zachary Porthen. Usually elusive, playing in tight head position today, and some nice physicality on display early on from both sides. We'll go through the lineups in just a little bit. Nice little show and go there from the captain. Almost breaks through, makes a meter or two up to the halfway line. Always interesting when you watch under-20 sides. They're not sides that play a lot of rugby together. They don't usually get a lot of opportunity to train together either. So very much sides are going to put together on a bit of a whim, and that's a very nice kick. Ball thrown back inside though, and New Zealand coming away with it just outside the 22. But lost forward though, and cleaned up there. I think that is by Bruce Sherwood. But it'll be a nice test of the skill sets of the two sides. And a penalty there, early penalty coming for the Boks. Interesting to see what they do here. Probably take the points, to be honest, given how wet the conditions are. Titus Safua with ball in hand here, the number 10. They're going to go to the corner here of the under-20s. They do try to play a very expansive brand of rugby under the coach Bafana Nhleko, but yes, given the conditions, you wouldn't be surprised if they do try and play a little bit more compact, and not a great lineup there either. So ball has been turned over. Well, our first scrum of the day. Apparently very windy down that pitch side, so expect them to be quite tricky conditions for these youngsters. Not a bad scrum that for New Zealand at that time. There's a deep restart here, and having to go back is Leo Clela. He does quite well here. Some exciting players in this junior back line, and with that having said that, that's then a bit of a mistake from Letitle Best. I mean, the conditions here are ridiculous. I mean, it's just puddles and puddles and puddles and pools of water. The complete opposite of any sort of conditions you'd like to see in a rugby match. So a bit frustrating, I suppose, from that side. And I don't think we're going to be treated to the most amazing spectacle here today. But we hope we'll be able to see a couple of players stand tall in testing conditions. I mean, really, there are dams on this field. That's a good line out there from New Zealand. Vernon Besson, who is feeding it there for New Zealand youngster, the Hurricanes youngster, with another knock on. So we can have another scrum here. You're seeing a slippery ball there, not straight is the call. So it'll be a scrum line up. A scrum for South Africa. Set piece will become very important given the conditions. Right, Assad Moose, the UCT scrum half, based in the Western Cape. Watched him play a bit for the Varsity Cup, had a very good campaign. And the kick ahead is a very good one. It's going to bounce just in front of a couple of players. Bester has made the mistake, and it's come away from with Isaac Hutchinson. Advantage for New Zealand, and just on the left-hand side, running into touch there was Malachi Rampling, big eighth man. So as you can imagine so far, very little running rugby being played so far. We've basically been going set piece to set piece, but it is a penalty for New Zealand to find touch just outside the 22. Almost 7 minutes into the game here. Just trying to sort out my team sheets at the moment so I can tell you exactly who's who in the zoo. So in terms of players to watch from a South African perspective, if that's who you are here to check out, the big exciting name in the side is Lorenzo Julius, the outside centre, playing his second campaign. Was fantastic last year on the wing. Moves to his preferred outside centre position. He is supposedly a superstar in the waiting, so a big season up ahead for him. Other players to watch out for, the likes of, all coming off the bench, but later is J.F. Van Heerden, who's already been playing some senior rugby for the Bulls recently and playing very well. I think Jake White has has talked him up a lot, saying that he's very much one to watch. For players I've watched, I've really enjoyed what I've seen from Assad Moose, the young scrum half. And another knock on there coming this time from New Zealand, just onside the 22. So, yeah, very, very scrappy so far. So yeah, I think the biggest thing when it comes to these sort of this under 20 rugby championship is I'm hoping to see quite a bit of rotation. I don't think we really care about winning the thing. It's for me, it's about the preparation for the under 20 championship, which takes place in a couple of months. So results, secondary performances, probably more important. And as I said, I'd probably like to see quite a lot of rotation, so we get to see the full squad throughout the tournament and get an idea of exactly what we're sort of in for when it comes to that rugby championship. Conditions wise, again today, I think will be a bit of a short example of what we're going to see from these players across the tournament. Hopefully, we'll see much better conditions throughout the rest of the tournament. But yeah, so we're going to we're going to scrum number 3 already in the first 8 minutes. looks like a reasonable amount of support actually for the South African contingent. It looks like quite a few parents have gone over to go and watch their kids play. Also, I thought it could also be sort of the locals in out. But usually when it comes to S20, usually a lot of as a parental support to go over for the tour. So another reset, Hassan Moose digging for that ball, goes down the right-hand side, and it is cleared by the fullback, which is Michael Damon. Now an opportunity to counter-attack, gets past one. That's a very big run there from Isaac Hutchinson, who takes a bit of a slip. And Batabile Klekane, who comes from Graham College, actually, not known as a rugby powerhouse. So cool to see the non-sort of traditional rugby school producing a baby buck there. But this is much better from New Zealand on the front foot. Hooker Werner Basson carrying up strongly. And on the left-hand side, they go. Not the best pass. And a bit of a chop tackle there on Tom Allen. So New Zealand being driven back. And that's a very nice tackle. And the ball coming loose as well. Turnover ball here for the Boks. But then being turned over by New Zealand. Not sure there was a knock-on advantage. And being turned. And having had to go back here is Michael Damon for the Boks. And it's not a brilliant kick, but he'll find touch on the 22. Very, very messy, as you can imagine. But coping so well far are both teams to a certain degree. But I haven't seen too much. I mean, I think the ball and play at the moment are pretty poor. I think if we have to look at actual, phases and the amount of time we've actually seen a bit of rugby even play, we're probably looking at about 2 to maybe 3 minutes. In terms of the broadcast information, I can tell you what in a little bit where it's being streamed. I'll give you 2 seconds. I've got the stuff somewhere here. So it's being broadcast on. So the only way to stream it really would be on Stan Sport, which is only available in Australia. So if you were to use a VPN, for example, and you can check out ExpressVPN in the description, or else you can also use BitDefender. You can then go set yourself to to Australia, and then you can access Stan Sport. You can sign up for a 7-day free trial, actually, which would be able to watch this game and the next game. Or also you could pay for for a month version, but that would be the only way you could really stream this if you don't want to use a SuperSport, because it is currently playing on SuperSport 1, so you need the full package on SuperSport to be able to watch this game. Right, but anyway, possession for the Boks, and they are into New Zealand's half, but they've just lost the ball in contact there. So lots of mistakes, lots of trading on possession so far. Very little rugby being played, and a solid hit there on Will Martin, the All Black under 20 prop. Now, big carry there coming from Malachi Rampling, who, I think from what I've seen earlier, looks like somebody who's got a decent turn of pace, likes to be, you've seen him down the wing a couple of times, bit of an Artie Severe type of build, and kicked ahead by Ben O'Donovan, and he's actually turned Michael Damon, who's been caught out of position a couple of times. He's got a bit of time yet to try and find a decent kick. I don't think it's going to find a lot of ground, and it doesn't, nor does it find touch. Now on the left-hand side, Cooper Grant, and runs back towards Rampling. And there's just, water shaking up everywhere as they try to stop them, and better hands there. But good defense so far from the S20s. On the left-hand side here, that's Shabby Taylor. That's a nice hit from the captain there. And almost turned over. And then coming through, this knock-on was the string. So it was Ruan Swart who tried to come over and steal the ball, which he had entitled to do, but couldn't quite hold on to it. So it'll be another scrum here. And welcome, Peter Moorman, the latest member of the Fair Sports Members Club. Good to have you. Welcome to the stream and to the channel if you're new. A little break and play, a bit of running of pairs for one of the New Zealand players. Very, very gusty and wet over there. So, I mean, awful, awful conditions. Which is not what you want to see when you watch a juniors game. You want to see decent conditions. You want to see if they can play some nice rugby. You know, their ability to play sort of test match rugby. You know, that kind of sort of hones it in as they go. But not too many of these players playing senior rugby just yet. I said a lot of them playing in the Varsity Cup. So we watched a couple of them with our NPL coverage over the last season. Asad Moose, as I mentioned, the young number 9 there. Joshua Bull is also a very exciting player in the number 23 jersey. Really enjoyed watching him for UCT this season. But some players to watch, as I said, Lorenzo Julius is the star in inverted commas at outside centre. I think Klikani's a nice player to keep an eye out there. Tian Jacobs at the back of the scrum is a good player. That's another reset, yeah. I think the most difficult thing for the referee at the moment is trying to find a dry piece of land to actually have the scrum. But on the right hand side, going New Zealand, but they've lost forward once again. I'm going to go all the way back. I think there was a earlier knockout which is going to go back for. Another scrum for South Africa on the far side of the field. They've got most of the right hand side to work with. They very rarely look to try and keep ball in hand, as you kind of imagine when the conditions so poor. And any scrum penalties so far at the scrum. They've both been pretty solid. In fact, they go on the left hand side, and that's a bit of a mistake there from Salfua, who's lost it backwards, has the scrum as the fly half. A lot of players piling in here, and somebody needs to come and find it. The ball pops out actually. So slow ball here from the Junior Box, but they have managed to get it back. Good work there. Big hit there on Joan Small. And Asad Moose now. Nah, that's coming from the side. That's pretty poor in the end, actually, from Tom Allen, who came away from the side and has given the Box a penalty. So they'll be able to keep themselves out of a bit of danger here. It is on Supersport. It is currently being shown from here on Supersport Grandstand. I think it's also on Supersport Rugby. It is indeed, which is 211 or 201. So it is being shown on Supersport. That's a really poor. In fact, it's a free kick. They've gone away with it from South Africa. Apparently, New Zealand sort of closing the gap there, but not the best communication. And Joan Small actually getting it wrong. Asad moves running towards as if he's going to take a quick tap. They're going to take a quick tap, and it's Tian Bester who carries it up. Keep it nice and tight out of the baby box. A couple of nice big hits. There's the captain, Zachary Portman. He's sent one player flying. Very nice work there from this big prop. But then a penalty for holding on, I think, is the call. But slightly ice there. The hit was almost too good from Zachary Portman. Showing some nice physicality so far as the young prop. Usually plays with a loose head, so interesting that he is playing tight head today. But you can just see massive hit there coming. And it was actually the hit that helped because it was Tom Allen that went flying back. And because he went flying back, he was then in a position to get up and then have a go at the ball. So big opportunity this now for New Zealand at 20. We're still scoreless after almost 20 minutes. They were a 5-meter line out in some horrendous wind. You can actually see it from the junior box when they've gone to try to go to touch. They basically just kicked it almost vertically. I mean, horizontally to 90 degrees out because they just can't find any distance with the wind. So they're playing with the wind in the second half. So they just need a shot of hopefully that doesn't make too much of a difference so far today. Good running more defense here so far. And one of the junior block players, I think it was Kanye coming down. Now they do use it. They go to the midfield. There's a strong tackle coming on Chavi Tealia. Now back to Rampling, who's carried a lot so far for New Zealand as the number 8. Now this is Andrew Smith carrying it in, but good defense still so far from the very box. Showing their physicality early on here. And it's another knock-on. Very, very good work this year from the junior box. You can see what it means to them. Klakana there applauding his teammates. But I've been very, very impressed with the physicality that they've shown on defense. Been very difficult for New Zealand to get over the advantage line so far. And long may that continue. I mean, how's that for an amazing piece of renaissance? After 20 minutes of watching rugby in the worst possible rugby conditions, but as I said, there's worrying signs ahead for the future of Springbok rugby. For what reason? 90 minutes of no score. Dude, are you watching the game? Have you seen the conditions they're playing in? I mean, in that same sentence, it means well, there's worrying signs ahead for New Zealand at rugby because they've also not scored in the first 20 minutes. Come now, come now, come now, come now, come now. Let's be fair on the kids here. I mean, most of these kids are 19 years old. Not exactly the best position to talk about if they're going to be future box or not. There's the penalty at scrum time, though, for the junior box. So that's a nice moment to try and get them going. Again, but with so much wind, I guess, they're not going to be able to find a lot of distance. So they'll stay within their half, but they will have the feet of the line out. And it's turnover ball there from the line out there for New Zealand. I think so. I think it should be a South African line once again. Jean Small asking the question, why is the New Zealand line out? I'm a bit confused, I must admit, when you think that yeah, so he won it. No, there it is. Jean Small's come away with the ball. That's a nice big run from him. That's a moose. And then going to the boot there. And it's very, very well judged by his opposite number, Ben O'Donovan, who's then kicked him behind. And that ball might go too far, actually. And it's going to be a scrum all the way back. Ironically, given how wet it is, you found about the only try patch where it actually would have bounced and kept going. So it'll be a scrum all the way back where Ben O'Donovan kicked it. And this block pack is starting to show a bit of ascendancy. So a nice opportunity here at the scrum. I mean, amazing. Yeah, that ball just kept going. There's a lot of South African sport, by the way. Given the age of the kids, I said it wouldn't surprise me if a lot of these other families have gone over. Or it could be siblings watching their brothers play. How cool would that be, eh? In Australia, watching your brother play for South Africa, potentially thinking, well, I could have a Springbok as a brother one day. How's that for something to aspire to for them? So it's scrum for the box inside New Zealand territory. Down the right side they go, and he's left it behind has BITDEFENDER. Straight in and straight out, unfortunately. Not sure the blind side was the player. Seen very little so far of U20 Julius, who's the player with a lot of hype. Got to get the super stopper out there, chaps. I mean, it's not currently raining, so this is all the residue water, so slightly behind him. The pass to the BITDEFENDER. Not the smallest winger out there. But we've seen very little of the two centres, and Bruce Sherwood and U20 Julius. As well as not much of Tyler Tafua, the young fly half. Pretty good hit that from the Berry box, but the penalty. Oh, sorry, free kick rather. Not entirely for. I'm not sure if it's for pushing for the balls in. But it's a nice kick that, nice hit that from the Berry box. I don't think they'll be too upset with that. It looks like a decent amount of physicality on display at the moment. So almost 25 minutes of play. It's still scoreless over on the Sun Coast. Not particularly sunny. And as called the mark there has Michael Damon. Which he almost indicated like he wasn't allowed to, which I'm pretty sure you are allowed to from free kick there. No, big, that's a nice tackle. Very well timed that from Tlhakano. He's had a very impressive game so far. And now he's down a bit. I think he might have actually done a shoulder in that tackle. And that's a nice take there for Michael Damon, who was trying to do a nice inside step from him. There we go. But of footwork we're seeing. We haven't seen too much of that so far. Nice clean ball available there for Asa Moose. Solid carry now for Thomas Dyer. Asa Moose now wants to go to the boot. Is asked in for a blocker in the form of Tian Bester. Sorry, Tian Jacobs rather. And it's knocked backwards. Falls into the arms of Aki Tuavalala. Big pressure at rack time as well. He's in back inside the own half. An arm wrestle, I think, is probably the best way to describe this. And it goes back to Cooper Grant, who goes to the boot. Once again, very nicely taken by Michael Damon. And he'll want to run this. And he's caught, but gets the inside ball. Good hands, good hands. Bruce Sherwood now. Inside ball there too. Back down to Bruce Sherwood. He steps inside. Just short of the 22. Much better that from the Berry box. But then a penalty coming, just a little bit isolated there. And quickly taken there from New Zealand. And they've hammered it forward. It's not going to find touch there. And Lorenzo Julius has gone all the way back. The big outside centre. And he's opted to run himself. Slightly isolated. And he's lost the ball forward. So it's a really, really poor decision from one of the more experienced players in the team. Definitely should have gone to the boot there. Now turnover ball for New Zealand inside the 22. And then making amends for his mistake there. U20 Julius does win the penalty, so it'll be a penalty for the SA under-20s. But jeepers me, very little rugby being played. It's kind of just a kick chase, ball on the ground a lot. Some of the, I mean, that was probably the best moment of the game so far. The nice hands here from the junior box, the good ball inside from Bruce Sherwood, and a nice backup play there from Sibabala Mahashe. Also a very, very nice player. I watched a little bit of him so far early in his career. So as I said, a couple of players. There's some nice players in this box pack to look forward to. Somebody who watches a lot more junior rugby than me has said they reckon this could be one of the best junior squads we've ever had. Sibabala Mahashe is actually a former SA under-18 captain. So is not a stranger to playing in the green and gold at junior level. Looking for the rolling Moya are the box, and it's going to be turned over. So very little going right for either team, really. Each time either team gets an opportunity, there's a mistake that comes from them. And just see Jean Small on the wrong side of the maul there, and his opposite number getting all over him and bringing it down. And doesn't have to release at all. Decent scrum there from New Zealand, but it's a good counter patch over there from the box. Now, good tackle there from Safua. Penalty advantage for New Zealand. Wouldn't surprise if they take the points here, actually. This is right in front of the poles. They've got the, you can just see, I think one of the earlier players is pointing straight to the pole, saying, well, we finally got a penalty in the kickable position with the wind behind us. So I think this could be the first points of the day at the half-hour mark. Right, and his turn, and he has managed to get the kick there. So taking the kicking duties there is Isaac Hutchinson, the fullback. And we finally have some points after half an hour, and New Zealand taking an early lead, getting 3 points on the board from a penalty. And yeah, as I said, early scrappy game of rugby so far. I don't think we're going to see a particularly high scoring game. This could be very close, regardless of sort of either the dominance, because it's very difficult to capitalize on any sort of pressure that's being built at the moment. Once again, very low kickoff there. Don't get underneath it, given how wet the center spot is. And you see the trying to keep ball in hand, but they're parked outside the 22. Now they go back, and Cooper Grant does go to the boot, searching for touch. And he's found the space very, very well. And Tyson Safua right up against the touchline has done very, very well. Oh no, apparently not. Looked like he had done well to get into to keep it in touch, but the touchline's saying no. So that's a brilliant kick, in fact. Well, it looked like a bit of a shove there, Michael Damon. Yeah, and his foot was on the line as he took that. So he actually did do quite well once he'd been tackled, but unfortunately standing on the line as he grabbed the ball. So it will be a New Zealand line under 22. I was saying such shit weather causing plenty of handling errors, have to play a territory game. Yeah, I think things will get a little bit easier for the Baby Box in the second half when they've got the wind behind them. Very much playing against the wind at the moment. So another knock on there coming from New Zealand will be a Baby Box scrum. Penalty there from the box at scrum time, so another opportunity for them to try and clear the lines, but Sephora is kicking against the wind. And you can just see that ball, as soon as it gets to the air, it just sort of holds up. So very, very difficult to get outside the half. So I think for me, another knock on there, you've got to be a bit accurate here when it comes to the passes. So Asad Moose has had a couple which has slipped. Needs to adjust here. I think this is the big thing. They've got to really, really focus on the basics here. Got to focus on the catch. Got to focus on the pass. Because in these conditions, you've got to work a little bit extra harder to and that's gone loose from the back of the line. And John Small comes away with it. There is a knock-on advantage, I think, for the baby box. They're just halfway between the 22 and the 10-meter line. And Asad Moose is going to go to the boot chair. It'll be interesting to see. So he's going to try and go for a bit of distance, but it will hold up in the air. And it's been lost forward and picked up by Joe Taylor. He's then been bundled into touch. Quickly taken, though, from New Zealand. And there's a bit of space here. Going to the boot. And having to backtrack here is Bester. Inside ball. Whistle seems to have gone. Not entirely sure for what. I think it's a penalty against New Zealand. Right in the inside of the 22. Penalty for New Zealand. I was about to say, because Tian Jacobs was running towards there, trying to take it quickly, and then realized it wasn't in fact his penalty. Taking a jumper in the air is the call. I'm not sure about I'm not sure about that call, to be honest. But they don't find touch here to New Zealand. On the bounce, there goes Cooper Grant. Down the left-hand side there. Best is well placed. And he goes to the middle of the park. On the bounce. And that's a very, very good kickback. Could be a 50-22, you know. I think that's really, really poor play from Nitale Bester, because he's gone down the middle of the park and then had to chase it, leaving that left corner so open. And I think it's Ian Hutchinson who's then spotted the space very, very quickly. Looking back at the penalty, it's Asad Moose who's gone and hit him. He's mulched a little bit as he's been hit. The legs have come into the air to make it seem as if he was massively in the air, which I don't think he really was. It was slightly late there from Asad Moose. And it comes across down the right hand side. There goes the big Johnny Lee for New Zealand. They're 5 meters out. Here are the All Black under 20s. And another penalty against the red box right in front of the poles here. And be interesting to see what New Zealand do here. Do they look for tap and go? They're 5 meters out, or do they just take the points with just under 4 minutes remaining in the half? Gone for the scrum, you have New Zealand, but not. And it's actually a knock on there from New Zealand, so that's due to the pressure from the box scrum. Probably been the one of the few positives of the game so far is the box squad scrum. They've scrummed really nice up front, and the physicality of the pack have been pretty good. Now a couple of the players getting to know each other, including the staff and captain Zachary Portman. Yeah, good scrum that from the very box. Right, so 2.5 minutes left in the first half. It's been a messy first half, just the 3 points so far. Hopefully, the Bay Box with the win behind in the second half will be able to apply a bit more pressure on the New Zealand counterparts. At the moment, been very much stuck inside their own half due to the wind against them. And you just see the Michael Damon trying to find touch, but the ball is going absolutely nowhere. So they only get towards the 22. Indeed, New Zealand God has been a very slow game, and they're basically playing in a swamp. The amount of puddles and the water and the conditions are absolutely torrid, very, very windy. We've seen skew line-out throws. We've seen genuinely about 12, 13 knock-ons so far. Lots of scrums. So we've seen very little offloading. Had to be very, very tight due to the horrendous conditions. So, yeah, difficult really to say which teams had the better half, for example. He's in with another penalty there. I think he's bought that, to be honest. I mean, you look back and there's STM Best again. I mean, you could barely see the two teams. The shirts are so wet. So I think New Zealand will have had a lot more field position and territory, but a lot of that due, and there's another knock on. A lot of that due to the conditions, the fact that South Africa just can't kick outside their half because that ball just slows up. Whereas New Zealand, when they do kick, they can find a lot of ground with the wind behind them. So providing the wind doesn't switch at half time, the Baby Box will have that advantage. They're going to go for the points here on New Zealand, so they could take a 6-0 lead into half time, which I don't think is unassailable from the Baby Box. I think it's always been such a close game. I would be very surprised if we see too many tries in the second half. Just such horrible conditions for any sort of type of running rugby. Ball's actually, yeah, that's how winning it is. The ball's coming off the kicking tee there. It's another good kick as the time goes red. So half time, New Zealand will lead the Baby Box 6 points to 0. I don't think Van Atletico will be too hard on his side. I think that they're very much in the game. I just think that they've really struggled with playing against the wind. So that will change in the second half, and provided they can adjust, there's no reason why they can't come back from behind to get a good result here. But we're going to take a bit of a break. We will return for the second half in about 10 minutes' time, so don't leave us. Stay tuned. We'll see you guys in a bit. But yeah, go get a beverage, go get a coffee if you're in South Africa. It's sort of mid-morning over here. And we'll see you guys in just a bit for the second half. But yeah, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe as well. And welcome to some junior rugby. But we'll catch up in a few minutes.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Between Two Fans with myself, Daniel Skoltz, and Stevie P. We are covering the world of sport, the highs, the lows, all the stories that you need to hear the last week. Stevie P, how are you doing, kind sir?
Yeah, it's a tough time out here, Dan. It's public holiday tomorrow. I've got a 7:45 tee off. So it's a little bit of a midweek. Yeah, bit of a midweek break. So it's I think today it almost hit the record high for the hottest 30th of April we've ever had in the country. So it's a tough life we're living down here in SA, but we're grinding through.
To be fair, today has probably been the hottest day of the year in the UK, and it hit a soaring 18 degrees. So we're both winning, It's some on different scales than others, but I'd say we're both winning. And unfortunately, I'm not winning in the golf department because I'm absolutely not playing golf tomorrow morning and not having public holiday. I'll be joining.
And our teams aren't exactly doing very well at the moment. Well, my teams, actually, both of our teams are not doing very well. So we're not winning, off the pitch there. Or on the pitch with regards to professional sports. And so our individual sport careers will have to carry us through.
Yeah, it's been a tough month from the perspective of us as supporters, actually running my first ever marathon this weekend. So hopefully the athlete in me, I don't know, somewhere dark and deep down, might present itself this weekend.
So
And
do we dare ask for, are there goals, or is it just finishing now?
start to finish, brother. Start to finish.
Start to finish sub 3, try and look for that.
No, we're hiking Everest this weekend. But
is it a trail or is it a road?
Yeah, it's a trail up the Welsh mountains.
A trail 42.
Gonna go find some dragons up there at the altitude. But Stevie, that's not what people want to hear about. They want to hear about how the predictions were last week. And the big story was that last week I managed to turn it around finally. I believe the score is 8-3 now, having just kind of got the tide to turn. And there are 3 different fixtures that we bet on every single week, and we see who is more correct. Stevie is giving me the thumping of my life, but I've just recently won. So let's get through what we bet on last week. First match, Lions versus Munster. Oof, tough one to watch as a Lions fan. Stevie, your prediction was was Lions by 5. Mine was Munster by 3. Results 33-13 to the men. Yeah, sure. I mean,
for about 5 minutes.
Yeah. So a resounding win for Munster, massively successful tour for them in South Africa.
Can I just say, I think that these last 2 games for me, surely have to put them as, I wouldn't say favourites whilst you got a Leinster, but I tell you what, they're looking hard to beat.
The only thing that's not putting them in favourite is their actual league position, because they may not have a home city and final. So, but 100% form, they've struck form at the perfect time. The second match, Stevie, and I don't think I've ever got a Stormers prediction correct, but Stormers versus Leinster, as predicted, Leinster was a bit of a weakened squad, and I didn't think Stormers would bounce back as they did. Stormers winning that game 42 points to 12. It was only 30-point win, and my prediction was Stormers only by 7. Yours was Stormers by 12. Again, not very close, but Stevie, you took that one home and drawing it up at 1-1. And our final match of the weekend, Spurs versus Arsenal North London derby. A lot to play for, Premier League, top 4, both teams wanting to kind of derail the other one. That game ended 3-2 with to Arsenal. Obviously, Arsenal going 3-0 ahead. Spurs almost clawing it back.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it was getting a bit dicey at the stage for Arsenal.
Very dicey. I think no one was more happy than David Raya to make sure that game got wrapped up, because he was the reason that they even let Spurs back into that game. But Stevie, your prediction was 2-1 Spurs, and mine was 2-2. So closer than yourself. So I'm back. It's 8-4. I've halved the deficit.
Half the deficit in 2 rounds here, dude.
You're talking momentum. Tomorrow is May, and I'll be taking that momentum into May.
So the question is, Dan, what is the real marathon? What, you running on Sunday, or this comeback in the prediction game, dude?
I mean, this one feels longer. I might have different.
This one feels more unassailable. Bring on the mountain.
Yeah, this is a bigger mountain to climb. But Stevie, you mentioned Munster and the talk of URC. Let's get into last week's results, because, geez, I mean, you feel like you have a grasp of which way this top 8 is going to go, and then week on week it just turns itself on its head. And
I think if you were to look at my thumbnails for my weekly URC review, you'd think I didn't know what was plotting. Because every week it's like Lions up for the top 8, then it's like have Lions bottle top 8, like Bulls back. Then it's like, Bulls going downhill. The Stormers on the downward trajectory, putting 40 points against Leicester. So it's the most ridiculous URC season.
Yeah, I mean, literally, Ospreys having gone and beaten Stormers last week, everyone kind of, bigging them up in the conversation, and now all of a sudden dropped down to 10th after taking a big L to the Bulls. But let's quickly cover some of those fixtures. A massive, massive win for Ulster, 38 points to 34 with Benetton. Again, both teams in that top 4 race. Ulster having a horror season off the pitch, managing to kind of keep it going on the pitch, to be fair. And you got to give the players a lot of credit for that, trying just to kind of put that behind them.
Just really trying to drag themselves through it, aren't they? I mean, if they can get that top 8, then talk about salvaging a disaster season.
Yeah, no, it'll be massive for them. I mean, anything in the top 8, I think, is honestly impressive, especially just with how spread out and how big the competition has been. Big win for Sharks, who played mostly a first team against the Scarlet.
And left. We're never really in the driving seat. It was a bit of a weird game. Had to keep sort of coming into it, keep trying to sort of see them off. I was impressed by Scarlets.
I thought, to be fair, I thought the Sharks let them in at the end there. They should never, Charlotte scoring like 2 minutes from time and almost having a crack at the final whistle for the line, but not to be. Our boy Sia Masuku pulling strings, 3 MOMs in a row. Werner Koch hat-trick. He's been playing some really good rugby, to be fair, recently. Speaking of Ulster, he'll be there next season.
That's part of the rebuild.
Glasgow Warriors now lead top of the table with their 40 points.
With space,
With a bit of space. I mean, yes, they're paying for not sending any teams. I mean, I don't think they'll be worried too much. They'll probably end on top in any case.
Because Glasgow Warriors have come down to Ellis Park, so they're definitely losing at least one game in the last 3.
But it's nice to see, to be fair, Scottish side that's not just mid-table. I mean, Edinburgh, I think they're quite hot and cold. But I think it's nice to have at least a team from each country representing. We've seen Benetton represent, obviously Italy. We haven't quite found our Welsh representation or spearhead yet, but the other fixtures were obviously, as we mentioned, Munster 33 points to 13, Connacht 34 points to 27 versus the Drags, who almost caused a bit of
that could have been a massive result for me as a Lions fan. I was monitoring that because when I thought that there could actually be a chance for Dragons to pull up a bit of a result there, it could have been big.
Yeah, and then Edinburgh 24 points to 7, Stormers 42 points to 12. Stevie, walk us through this top eight battle. What are you seeing here?
Well, there's a bit more space now. If you go back at one stage, it was like 5th through to 11th were separated by like 2-3 points. There's a bit more space now when you think the Lions are now 4 points behind, 5 points behind 8th. So there is a bit of space. But because a lot of these teams are playing against each other, there's maybe not as much space as you think, because the Lions are playing against a Cardiff and the Glasgow Warriors. So they're not playing against anybody sort of in and amongst their that fight, but a lot of them are. So, and Edinburgh goes and beats an Ulster, for example, or vice versa. And all of a sudden, there's lots of these teams will be dropping points in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So, I think, as a Lions fan, for example, down, not out there. I think, 2-3 more wins, I think does get them top 8. I do see a couple of these teams dropping points, but it's one of those things now where bonus points are going to come into it. Lions were paying the price for not getting enough wins because, for example, they don't go to points difference, they go a number of wins. So Lions have been 11th, despite being level on points for the 2 to 3 teams the last couple of weeks, purely on number of wins. So it's interesting how that could actually play a bit of a role. Bulls, however, they've kind of managed to get themselves back into that purely top 4 race, putting 6 points between them and the Stormers.
And I don't think the top 4 I don't think anyone will move in and out or out of that top 4. I think it still might shuffle around. Maybe Leinster, Munster could even flip around. Glasgow might not finish top. I feel like Bulls will probably stick around there, but it's really that 5 to 8 that's the big one. I have faith now in the Stormers. I think sitting on 45 points. To be fair, 8th is only on 44. As you said, there are those head-to-head battles that's really going to tie it up. I mean, you kind of need to be drawing for a couple of draws almost in the upcoming weeks. If you look at like a game, even like what's called Edinburgh versus Zebre, Lions Cardiff, that's going to be massive for you. I'm actually looking. There aren't that next week, at least. There aren't that many that's in that top 8 battle next week.
The last 2 weeks are very.
Yeah,
but the thing is, but if you look, for example, if you look at the top 8, some of the guys who are in the top 8 have some big clashes. So for example, Bulls versus Glasgow, for example, it's not a massive game, but Edinburgh. I'm looking at Sharks Benetton, for example. in theory, you look at the log position and think it's a pretty straightforward game. If the Sharks are out of the Challenge Cup, for example, then they could play a first team. Right, and we are back for the second half. It is New Zealand under 26, Springboks 0. But that's not the way things would have wanted to have started for New Zealand, as they've kicked towards basically kicked to touch. Sorry, it's actually 3 points to 0. They're actually missing the 3 points for half time, and to correct that. But as you can see on the scoreboard there, so opportunity now for the Springboks to try and get things going in the second half. Things are still very, very wet. I think it looks like the groundsman had to do a bit at half time to try and dry the field up a little bit. But an early mistake there, and a knock-on advantage for New Zealand, who will be playing against the wind in theory the second half. They were using it very much to their advantage in the first half, so interesting to see how they managed in the second half. But it does actually, having said that, a lot of water underfoot, but it does look like we don't have as many puddles in and around the field as we might have had in the first half there. Much better early on from New Zealand already. Looking to keep ball in hand. Straight through the middle here. Bit of a break here. And having to scramble ball eventually going to touch off the boot of Stanley Solomon. Big substitution there, by the way. As J.F. van Heerden has come on for South Africa, who's one of the vice captains, but is also, more important, one of the better players in this Springboks side. He has actually been playing I think about 3 or 4 caps now for the Bulls senior side at URC level. So very exciting talent coming through there at the Bulls. Almost a bit of a mistake there, and it's had to be grounded. So it'll be a 5-meter scrum here for the Springboks. We're on the front foot there. And then just knocking it on. It's a good tackle coming from JF and here, and then Lorenzo Julius. Yeah, so I definitely think that things have dried up a little bit. I'm not sure if that was the groundsman at the half time, and if they've managed to go and soak up, probably get a couple of towels out there. I don't think they've quite got a super solid, but that looks like it's rained a lot. So it hasn't gotten worse, but still very, very wet. And you can see that kick there from Safua. It's not the best kick, but you can see how the ball just kept going. So it definitely looks like the Springboks have the wind behind them. Don't know if it's as strong as it was in the first half. But another good scrum there from the Springboks. And they'll just adjust as the half goes in terms of being able to get a bit more greedy with the sort of the distance that they can try and go for all the Springboks. Good line of that for New Zealand into the midfield. Big tackle coming on Rampling. On the left-hand side. Goes himself, does Cooper Grant. Big tackle on him. And Tlhakana's trying to get over. Now back down the right-hand side they go. And it's Joshua Smith. Inside ball, but left behind there from Werner Besson. So knock on for the Springboks. And they'll want that because I think they're starting to get a bit of ascendancy kind of scrum time. So they can keep building the scrum and keep improving there. Then that's going to be their best avenue to getting back into this game. That's gone down there, so we'll have a reset. Right, another scrum here for the baby box. Let's get a good hit there from them. They're not looking to hook it, so they're looking to try and get a second shove here out of the baby box. There it does come. And it's spin down the and they go on the left-hand side. Goes to the boot and does Safua. Very, very wet, still back inside that New Zealand tail. The ball holds up in the water. But a good chase is coming, and he looks to be running, almost getting through, but eventually actually lets go of him. Still going. Does anyone actually want to tackle him, guys? No, does anyone want to tackle him, guys? That's lazy from the baby box. So half tackles, half tackles, half tackles. Thankfully, they left it behind. Lorenzo Julius making the initial tackle on Stanley Solomon, but then letting go. Then somebody else making the initial tackle, then letting go. And that happened about 3 or 4 times. And he almost got back up towards the halfway line. Right, so that's going to be for the baby box sometime on the 10-meter line. So penalty here could be an opportunity for points. It's interesting because it's so wet on the one side, which is the side where the game will tend to be played because of the wind behind them. Penalty advantage there for the baby box, and it's almost come loose to Assad Moose. They'll go back for the penalty. No, New Zealand penalty. So it wasn't actually an advantage at the scrum time. I'm almost surprised about that, but another good scrum from the baby box. They definitely seem to have the hit here. I'm entirely sure the penalty for might be in front of the kicker, I think, because it'll be the only one. The only thing I can think of. Seems pretty soft, though, to be honest. They challenge the line at the baby box, and it comes back to Vernon Basson. They'll kick him behind. Gathered very nicely by Bester. He spots a bit of space on the right-hand side. And he's found touch. Very, very nice kick that from Letitia Bester. Good pickup and a good kick in behind and forcing New Zealand back inside their own half. Just to be a bit of a territory game for a bit, I think. Almost on the bounce there, and he gets the kick away. Very, very well played that from the wing. Good skill set on display. Isaac Hutchinson not able to get across. Right, well, here comes a whole new front row for literally 2 props. A new scrum off. That's a lot of subs coming on here for New Zealand. So it looks like it is the reserve hooker, I think. So I think we've got Awan Lolofi, Senior Sanele. Did a pleasure to come on, as has Rico Simpson. So no, in fact, it's Lua Milanove. So the tight head's on. Then Cooper Grant is off as well at 10, as is Ben O'Donovan, the number 9. And it's William Martin off. So Vernon Basson, the only front row still remaining on the park. Just the 1 sub so far from the box. With JF Van Heerden coming on in place of Adam Duval. Good hands here from New Zealand. They're finding a lot of space on that right-hand side. Lots and lots of space. Still lots and lots of space. Now kicking behind comes. And Asad Moose is going all the way back under a lot of pressure, though. He's going to need some support. And they've done very, very well to maintain that ball. And that's gone straight off their feet. Mr. Ref, they've gone straight off their feet at the breakdown. Should be a penalty advantage there. And a bit of pressure there. Safua will have to clear, but that should be a free clear. It's a very good clearance from him. Quickly taken, though, from New Zealand. Rico Simpson has just come on. He's looking to try and run. Good tackle there from Bester. That's a nice big hit. Welcome to the game, says the Baby Box to Sineo Sanele. Left behind and turnover. That's very good work there. Jeff Van Heerden pops to his captain. Now Bruce Sherwood, who had a couple of nice runs earlier in that first half. Brought down just short of the halfway line. Moose goes on the right-hand side. Inside ball. Thomas Dyer working hard through the tackle. Ball available for Moose. Straight, nice and flat. And it's a big hit there coming from John Small. Double tackle on him. Now fighting in the tackle there is Tian Jacobs. Now Lorenzo Julius. Slip pass out to Bester. Bester with a bit of space. Inside ball. Back to Bester. Bester goes to the boot. And it's been caught by Isaac Hutchinson. And now Damon's going to have to go all the way back. And a lot of pressure there from Isaac Hutchinson. And the ball is available all the way back on the 5 meter. So frustrating because that was almost a really big attacking opportunity for the Baby Box. But a really good work from Isaac Hutchinson just to charge down the kick and then regather. Yeah, I mean, I think if that kick over the top from Bester come off, it could have been very, very close. Right, there are a couple of substitutes. Ethan Bester on for Jean Small, and Letitia Bester's off. So I'd imagine, I don't know if it's... So Josh Bull's on as well. More of a centre is Josh Bull, so I wonder if we might see Lorenzo Julius move to the wing to accommodate Josh Bull, whether he will go to the centre, the wing. Does look like Bull is sitting on that left wing. Played for UCT in the Varsity Cup to Josh Bull's. Nice player. Right, so it's a scrum here for New Zealand on the 5 meter line. Big opportunity here for them. All right, let's see what the new front rows can do. Run down on the other side, but available for New Zealand at the back. Now Simpson, long pass out wide. If this goes to hand, there should be a try for New Zealand. There will be a try. Pretty poor from Safua. Came far too much inside, and the lofted pass over the side was always going to see them run in. So New Zealand scored the first try of the second half. They've looked a lot better since half time. building a lot of pressure. And after 53 minutes, we finally have an opener. Really poor reading that. Michael Damon comes flying in. And they locked the pass out towards him. We have miles and miles of space. And it's Stanley Solomon who opens the scoring for New Zealand. Right, New Zealand 8, Baby Box 0. Difficult kick this for Rico Simpson. The tall replacement fly half. And yeah, he pulls it to the left. So it'll remain at 8 points to 0. So a converted try gets the Box right back into this. Good take in the end from him, but yeah, miles and miles of space. Deep restart. And Simpson goes to the boot. Doesn't look like he's looking for touch there. He's actually lifted into the middle of the park and he's allowed to bounce as Damon. And Safur comes away with it. Safur makes a good break. Safur is still going. Good stepping from the scrum. From the fly half. Still going into the 22. Big opportunity now for the SA under 20s. JF Van Heerden, a nice big carry. Now Jacobs. Nice big hit from him as well. Bit of a momentum all of a sudden for the under 20s. Now Klakana, he's playing well today. And he steps inside. A good show of pace and a nice bit of footwork there from him. Into the 22 they go. Keeping it nice and tight here. And it's the captain, Vernon. So there he carries it up. Penalty advantage, yeah, Klakana. He's played well today. Looks to be adding into a plethora of loose forward stocks in the country. Now Julius goes with the kick in behind. And Leo Clearler not quite managing to get. They would have probably liked to have tried to kick it back inside. But there's a penalty in front of the poles. Decision time, yeah, for Zachary Paulton. Personally, would be tempted to take the points here. Scrum could be an option as well. But I mean, having not scored no points after 56 minutes right in front of the poles, I think that should be the sensible decision. It looks like that will be the decision. Get yourself on the board. It means that a converted try gets you into the lead. It means one more penalty can get you within a third penalty of the lead. The ball's fallen off there, so Klakana's going to have to come and hold it onto the top of the tee. He's a bit rushed now, also for. But no issues for him. Flags do go up, and South Africa on the board. 8 points to 3 after almost the hour mark. Right, so it continues to be quite a close game. Very low and very well taken from JF Van Heerden. Looking for space. Oh, it's a big hit on him, and he sat down. And New Zealand outside centre, Aki Tuavalala. Now back to Safuri. He wants to run this. Going for a ball there for Julius. It's not a great pass of him, but backwards to Leah Clearler. Not seen too much from the right wing so far this game. Managed to stay inside. Ball available for Asad Moose. Good to carry that from Klakana. Nice physicality been shown by him all game. Now Moose wants to go to the boot. Nice deep kick there from him. And it's been spilled forward by Rico Simpson. Almost kicked forward by Leah Clearler. And it's been dived on by. And ball up to Bruce Sherwood. Sherwood's still going. He's got Josh Ball on the offload. And Leah Clearler goes over. The baby Boks are back. How's that for a skill set in some wet conditions? What a try that is. Right by the poles as well. So all of a sudden, within 2 to 3 minutes, the baby Boks were 8-0 behind. It could be going ahead. It's a great try. Good work there, Bruce Sherwood. They offload their little chicken wing pass. It's a great try, though. Great try. And the kick is good. 10 points to 8. Into the lead. Yeah, I mean, that's a nice kind of attacking try there. It was a great kick. It was good kick there from Aston Moose and spilled forward by Rico Simpson and then capitalized by Baybox. And that looks to be a good kick from Michael Damon. They won't find touch, but pinging New Zealand back inside their own half. Really trying to use the win to their advantage now, the AC under 20s. Now, well read there from Damon. He got a bit of space here as well. Gets caught on the ball. Moose has been played there, so penalty for them. So now New Zealand discipline starting to cost them a bit. There's definitely been a bit of a momentum swing here. And then a knock on from the line out. Very frustrating that because it was a nice momentum being built, but scrum not the worst result. Baybox now playing with a bit of confidence though, which is good to see. Right, another replacement here, replacement Lucid. So Mabasa Makobela comes on and replaces Ruan Swart. Well, the biggest of props is Makobela. Right, so almost a new, complete new front rows. I think it's just Zachary Portman and Vernon Bassoni still on. So 4 out of 6 are replacements. So the scrum working really hard there as Portland trying to get it at Sensi. I think the ball actually might be coming back to the South African side. We have a bit of a stream issue here. And there's a penalty for the baby Boks. Really good work there. I think that was the captain that had it. We'll hopefully have a replay here because the feed coming from over there hasn't been the greatest across the game. I take the points here are the Boks. Not going to have an issue with distance. Has he managed to nail it? He has nailed it, and they open up a 5-point lead. Now, all of a sudden, the momentum seems to have changed a little bit. So hopefully they can really, really capitalize on this now, can the Baby Boks. Not cleanly gathered, but Joshua Bull comes away with it, the big wing. First player is rugby at centre, does Bull. But the Baby Boks could be stacked at centre this season. Now worse, and that might have been touched actually. So it's competitive. And it comes away from Tian Jacobs. Very good work there from the Baby Boks number 8. Ball available for Asan Moos. And slightly isolated. Their ball's going to be turned over there from New Zealand. Kick over the top there. And Safura was skewed off the side of his boot, but it will stay in. Big pressure there being applied on Dylan Pledger by the Baby Boks, but New Zealand do manage to retain it. Inside ball. He's landed right in front of Kakana, who's done very well today, and he's won the penalty. He has won the penalty. I'll tell you what, there's a special player in Batabile Kakana. I think could potentially be a man of the match conversation for me. He's been absolutely everywhere as the big number 7. Bit of a messy line, but it comes back to the side of the Baby Boks, and Asan Moos has to take into contact. His pass was blocked. And penalty there for New Zealand. Messy ball then being very isolated there was Asan Moos. And being prepared on the sideline. Looks like we're going to see Tabang Mapafi being introduced very soon. Right, so 13 points to 8 is how things currently stand. Deep kick that, and he's let it bounced actually, so it's going to stay all up just inside the 22. Big case coming here from Joshua Bull. Isaac Hutchinson will find touch, but it's not a great touch by. In fact, it's still inside the 22. I think he might have been touched actually, so I think they've actually considered that as carried back. Oh, bless me. Yeah, so I think it was carried back here. It's a great kick this year from Safua. I think it was actually touched by, yeah, I think I'm pretty sure it comes off his boot there. Good line of that from JF1 here. And looking for the only more here are the Baby Boks. 13 or 12 minutes left on the clock officially. And Asan Moos is going to have to try and come get that ball. I think that actually is going to be very late from the scrum. Very, very poor at that from Asamoah. You could see the man was coming around the side trying to get his hands on the ball. He wasn't particularly quick to get there, and we've lost out on possession as a result. Very, very poor from the young scrum half. It originally looked like a decent maul, but then New Zealand started to come back into it, and he's got to get that ball out. Right, we're only to run from the inside the 22. That's a big hit on Lorenzo Julius. Zealand 20 is back inside the 22. Lots of pressure. And I'll tell you what, it's been charged down by Rico Simpson. Very, very good energy being done there. I think it's probably number. I think it could be Zachary Portman actually who's part of that charge down. I often see a prop charge them down. Looking to take it quickly here are New Zealand, and they have taken it quickly. But Julius is away to the threat. Comes in back. Oh, it's a big hit coming from him. So the baby box with possession while his hands there by New Zealand right against the touchline. Looking to try and drive him out. Done very well to stay in has the replacement Joshua Wanga. So yes, New Zealand 20 with possession just outside their 22. As the clock ticks towards that 70-minute mark. 10 minutes left officially. Good to hit that. Good physicality here on the baby box. Try and park them back inside their own 22. Another nice hit there from Kakani. He's been so good today. And they've won the penalty half the baby box. Big moment in the game here. 3 points from them would take them out of reach from a 7-pointer from New Zealand. So this could potentially be the game here. Also must be tempted to go for the corner there. We are taking the 3 points here. He's gone down the right-hand side there, I suppose. So he has missed out. And another change here from Zealand 20s. And I think that could be Vernon Basson being replaced, the hooker. So yeah, it is indeed. So I wonder if he comes on for the last 10 minutes. Impressive game though, Vernon Basson. He looks like an exciting player. Tap and go here from the New Zealand 20s from the 22 dropout. And on for the baby box is Tabang Mpafi. Bit of space here. Asamoah gets it slightly wrong. Good tackle there. Not too many options there. And he goes to the left-hand side, does Dylan Pletcher. Another tackle there coming from, in fact, and a bit of a messy ball there. Good hands. There's some bit of space down the right-hand side. He needs to get across here. Is he going to be able to get across here? No, it's a terrible attempt to tackle that from Michael Damon. Desperate defense here from the baby box. They're just short on New Zealand. Penalty advantage here for New Zealand 20s. Remember, a converted try would take them into the lead. And non-converted try would level things up. And going for the cross kick is Simon Rico. Oh no! As well as been lost forward. Joshua Ball was in all sorts of trouble. But a penalty for New Zealand back inside the 22. I mean, the 3-pointer was the right decision for the South Africans, but that missed kick, which was very difficult, well, that's going to be a yellow card. So big opportunity now for New Zealand. South Africa will be reduced to 14 men for the final stages of the game. Dreadful tackle attempt earlier that was by Mikel Damon. Cross kick was a good one actually, and coming inside was Frank Vanuku, who just couldn't hold on. If he had, he would have been over. The yellow card, well, that could be proved to be very costly. Yeah, New Zealand right towards the end, looking to try and regain that lead. As I said, a try takes them even, a converted try takes them ahead. Right, looking for the hands. Oh my goodness me! Joshua Ball has completely hammered Solomon. That's already the tackle of the championship. And a knock-on coming from the SA under-20s. But jeepers me. Look at this tackle. Bang! Oh my word. Look at this. Oh! That is one of the biggest I've ever seen in rugby. That is massive. That's going to be on replay. Yeah, unlucky. He might have scored a try, Solomon, but he's going to be remembered for being absolutely manhandled by Josh Ball, who is a centre. I mean, the commentator's saying that's a wing on reaction. It's not. He is a centre. Plays with rugby in the centres. Right, and another change here for the box. The last one. Reno Hurst, the Lions young tight head, is on for the captain. And Safura is also off for Thurlan Williams. That is one of the biggest hits you'll ever see. Yeah, that was big. Big scrum that. A bit of pressure being paid on Barry Box, but they've got penalty advantage actually. And Thurlan Williams goes to the boot. Will find touch. We'll go back for the penalty. Big penalty that from the Baby Box. So with just 5 minutes left on the clock, they do have a penalty. They'll be able to kick towards touch and have the feet of the line out. Ashioza wants to go down the left-hand side here. He's not going to find touch. Very strange decision that. So been kept inside here by Frank Vanuku. And now a bit of space down the right-hand side here for New Zealand. Goes to the boot. Looks like it might have gone too far. It's going to hold in the air and been very well taken by Thurlan Williams, who needs to make a means for not finding touch. This time, we'll drop against touchline. Comes back inside. So the Baby Box will defend for the last few minutes here. Now kicking behind comes in. Looking for that 50-22. Bounces back. Good take that from Asad Moose, who steps to the side away from the player, but it looks like it could be a turnover ball here for New Zealand. They have turned the ball over. And on the short side, and Asad Moose makes the tackle, but Solomon's going to chip and chase here. Bit of a foot race on, and has he given it too much? No, the whistle has gone. Not sure what the decision here is. The whistle has gone. I think it could have been a knock on here. Not sure for who. Or by who, rather. Yeah, I think it's just forward there from New Zealand. So it should be a Junior Springboks scrum. No arms tackle apparently coming here, so this could be a bit changed. No arms tackle from number 16. So there's a penalty for New Zealand. That's very, very frustrating. They're going to the corner here on New Zealand. Less than 4 minutes on the clock. Big defense now needed from the baby box. Right, interesting to see if they will contend. Reminder that the baby box are down to 14 men. Going for the rolling Moya on New Zealand. Off to a good start. Looking to try and break away here. It looks pretty well set just from the baby box. Meter or two being made from New Zealand. Now they go around the corner. But it's just short. I don't know if the ball's available. Ball is available. Oh, almost a bit of a knock on there coming from New Zealand. But still with the ball within another on the left-hand side. Rico Simpson's caught on the ball. Pops it up. Good defense this from the baby box. They lost a few meters here, have New Zealand. The left-hand side, they go. He's on the ball. Another phase here from New Zealand. Oh no, 2-on-1 situation here. And they're going to go over in the corner here on New Zealand. Oh, we could have a draw. And that's just the numbers issue. Man down, a lot of space down that right-hand side. Desperately trying to get across, but they were never going to really. New Zealand hit back. The scores are level with a kick to come. I mean, I hate a draw. It would probably be a fair result, to be honest. It's been a very, very close game. But it was there. Josh Ball just coming off his line to try and hopefully make the tackle. Misses out, and then there's just so much space on that right-hand side. So both wings for New Zealand scoring tries. Frank Vaunuku this time. Yeah, was banking on the short pass there was Joshua Ball to try and hit the momentum. Got the read wrong, unfortunately. Big kick to come with 1.5 minutes left on the clock. And he's hooked it, I think. Yeah, he has hooked it, gone down the left-hand side. So scores remain level after 1.5 minutes. Are we going to start the Under-20 Rugby Championship with a draw? Free kick there for New Zealand from the kickoff. Right, a minute left, and they get tap and go here. Inside their own 22. So, South Africa need to try and find a turnover here. Or a penalty. A penalty in front of the poles will be... The clock has gone red here, so only a penalty will do here. It's a nice kick hit on that Jacobs. Ball over the top, though. Bit of space now. Slipped the tackle. Kicks him behind. Asad Moose is back. Under a lot of pressure there. Penalty advantage, though, for South Africa. They've got the penalty, so they don't need to kick it out or anything. Still got the penalty advantage. Right. Late opportunity here from South Africa. As I was thinking about the quick tap, it goes against it, and which probably just as well. Now, big opportunity here. They need to kick themselves into a good heel position. Does Thurman Williams, who's just come on here. No, they're taking the draw. They're taking the draw. A couple of them are not happy with that. That seems to be the decision from the side. Yeah, I think a couple of the South African players are not particularly happy about that. I would have liked them seeing them had a go. I think obviously the issue is with so much with the wetness and stuff like that, any sort of turnover and a counter-attack, try being a man down, taking the points here. Well, I think 13-13, I mean, we all hate to draw, don't we? But probably a fair result. Close game between the two sides. And, yeah, very, very interested to see how they do grow. Conditions weren't there for the running rugby that we would like to see. And both teams will play it, by the way. South Africa and the Van den Klerk has played a very good brand of rugby. So be very interested to see how they continue to go. But thank you very much. We'll be live once again for next week for the South Africa versus Australia game. So that'll be very cool to check out how we do progress. We might see a couple of changes, but already a couple of stars look like they are being born within this SA Under-20 side as they continue to build the preparation to try and regain that SA Under-20 Championship, or the Under-20 Championship title. It will be hosted down in South Africa, so could be very keen to see how things will go there. People, please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well, and I'll